Tonight, people are still talking about my recent interview with Congressman Anthony Weiner, where we went round and round about the IRS and its role in Obamacare. The IRS is the one that is going to make the determination whether you get fined or what happens to you. So again, the IRS is going to have access to information.
That is not true. Here's what's going to happen. If you want to, I'm going to explain how the bill works.
What if you choose not to do anything? Then who?
Then you are going to have to pay up to and not exceeding 1%
okay,
of
you're
your
going to
income.
have to, and you say, no, I'm not, then who comes after you?
Bill, I'm going to have to try to squeeze in an answer here. We have an 88% compliance rate with all elements of the tax code. Requirements, sanctions, everything. It's the highest in the world.
Yeah, what about the other 12%? The IRS gets them if they don't pay the taxes. Ask Wesley Snipes. With his now body language maven, Tonya Reiman. I just told a kid that he's got to give it a little more room. But if you saw the whole interview, I mean, Weiner just wouldn't acknowledge the IRS, the enforcement arm, and it is. So Weiner was saying what with his language?
Well, you know, with his verbals, he was saying everything from I don't want to answer this to how can I get around answering this, and that was because all the time takers between the bouncing up and down and repeating your name and then continuously saying things like I'm going to have to try to squeeze an answer in. Think about how much time that takes up. So you have the head gyrations here. And the body lifts, and what I mean by that is, you'll probably see it in a minute, he lifts himself up on his toes. And that's a power throw, when you try to lift yourself up to kind of elevate your status. Okay, so overall, I think that he was trying to burn the clock.
Trying to burn the clock.
Yes.
Obama does that. The president does that very well, but he does it mostly with answers. But he was basically trying to burn it by saying, you don't know what you're talking about, O'Reilly, you're a complete dunderhead.
Well, not only that, by then going, Bill, 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 you know, right. the more times I see
when he looked
your
off
name,
camera, I love that.
That was great. The eye avoidance, yes.
Right.
He completely said,
that was a head
I'm
avoidance.
shutting down. I'm shutting down.
That was a whole avoidance.
But he even did the slap. Like, he slaps his arms, turns his head, and completely cut you off.
Right. Yeah. All right. Laura Ingraham goes on the Today Show and talks to Matt Lauer about a report that she didn't like that George Lewis filed about Sarah Palin. Roll the tape.
How do you go from Sarah Palin giving a speech to saying, did she rile up the people too much, and then talk about death threats? I think that kind of reporting really is what drives people crazy about the dinosaur media.
Well, there have been some people who say that some of her comments and some of her graphics that she's used over the last couple of weeks have perhaps incited some people and maybe misrepresented her thoughts. She cleared it up herself, so why wouldn't you connect the two?
Now, I'm more interested in Lauer's body language. Miss Laura seemed like she always seems with me. She sits up, good posture, basically says what she says. What'd you catch up from Lauer?
Well, he seemed to. He also did the power bounce, by the way.
The power bounce.
It's this when you kind of bounce yourself up. So he took what she said in stride, and you can hear in his voice a slight amount of sarcasm. Actually, I think Laura Ingraham came across so beautifully because she did very naturally what a lot of people try to do on a conscious basis, which is to anchor good and bad. And if you watch her in a moment, you'll see that she starts putting Sarah Palin on one side and then the death threats on the other side. And you see that when people are trying to anchor in good emotions with others.
Well, her body language is steady, though. It's, you know, when you look at her, she's sitting in, you know, she's leaning in just a little, making her points lucidly.
Here's the anchoring.
What is that with the hands?
Yeah, when you do that, what you're doing is you're anchoring one point on one side and then anchoring the other point on the other side. And it allows you to kind of put good and evil on different sides, so to speak. One of the other things she did, just quickly, because there's something called downright anger, if you've ever heard. I'm downright angry. And we tend to look down and right when we're angry. So you could see this was really passion-driven from her. She looks down to the right, you could tell there's anger, and then she finishes off with her mouth very tight.
All right, but he's not angry.
No, he's not angry. He's indifferent. You could, you know, it's kind of like, look at the eyebrows raising. Like, are you kidding me? This is,
So he just wants the interview to be over?
I don't know if it was that he just wanted it to be over. He was just kind of a little bit bemusement there. If you see the little smile,
I get bemused once in a while.
We'll see that in the next clip.
All right. The next clip is President Obama with Matt Lauer. Go.
Oh, that's right. It's him. Okay.
I will continually reach out to Republicans. I will continue to incorporate their ideas, even when they don't vote for the ideas that I've presented. But what I'm not going to be dissuaded from is us going ahead and taking on these big challenges that are critical in terms of America's long-term economic health.
Now, I wasn't going to use that clip with Miss Tonya, but she told us that she picked something up on the part of the president, and tell the folks.
Actually, it's just, I'm surprised at how he looks, his appearance is poor. See, underneath his eyes, he looks tired.
Yeah,
and
well,
that's
this
not
is
typical
7
for him.
in the morning.
Right,
I mean.
but no, never. You never see him looking kind of
haggard?
Sickly, I guess. Haggard, right. Okay, that's a better word. So, I mean, he's typical Obama. Look at his right arm on the hand, nice on his leg, nice and relaxed. You know, he's not making constant eye contact, which he doesn't do. And he also has this look. You see how the one side goes up and his head is tilted. This is his way of showing superiority, and he does it in most of the interviews. The head is slightly up. I was just surprised more by his physical appearance.
So
with
you
the
think he looks weary?
I think he looks tired, which again I don't see quite often from him.
I think he did this when he just came back from Afghanistan, or was he going? See, that would be, you know, if it was when he comes back, and I should know this. I'm sorry, ladies and gentlemen, that I don't. Was it before or after? Does anybody know upstairs? I'm talking. Okay, we're not sure.
Yeah.
But if he had traveled to Afghanistan, obviously that wipes you out. So on.
But that, you see, your appearance really makes a difference in how
in
you
the
come
way you
across
present yourself.
So when people aren't going to know that.
That was after? So he had gone to Afghanistan and come back. Okay, so Tonya's right. So Tonya, you're right. That he, you know, obviously you make that trip over a weekend and then you're sitting there with Lauer and you're going, oh, yeah. Like
and that comes across to the audience, and if they don't recognize that's why he looks tired,
they're
then
going, what's the matter with him?
But
it's subliminal. I don't think people as professional as you saying, well, the guy looks haggard or whatever, but that's why he did. So, all right, Tonya, very interesting.
Thank you.
Thank you. We come right back. Dennis Miller, upset and perplexed.